Every day it gets harder to move, harder to stand, harder to walk, and harder to breathe. So it takes just about everything in me to finally convince myself to get up, because I know how bad it's going to be.
We are diving right into the deep end of despair with Justin. This is a man being suffocated by his own body and his own home. Every single movement, from sitting up in bed to just breathing, is a monumental struggle filled with agony and panic. He says he feels like he's looking at a mistake in the mirror, someone who became one of the world's biggest people. This is rock bottom. This isn't a life. It's a self-imposed prison cell made of flesh, and you can see the desperation in his eyes. He is completely trapped.
She hurt her back, and with that got addicted to painkillers. And when they stopped her prescription, she eventually started going to harder stuff like heroin. But as a child, all I knew was that my mom started to become unreliable.
Where does this all begin? It's the classic tragic backstory that sets the stage for disaster. Justin's childhood was pure chaos. His mother, caught in the grips of a heroin addiction after an injury, was a ghost in his life, there one minute, gone the next. Then his father remarries, and Justin is thrown into a new family where he feels like an outcast, like a real-life Cinderella story, but without any of the magic. You can draw a perfectly straight line from that childhood trauma, that feeling of abandonment and not belonging, to the 600-pound man we see today. Food became his only reliable source of comfort in a world of complete uncertainty.
I look forward to her visits, just like I did when I was young. Because when she's here, I feel loved and wanted, just like I did then. And our routine is the same as it's always been, so food is a big part of our time together.
And just when you think he might have a chance, in walks the enabler-in-chief, his mom. She's back in his life. And what's the first thing she does to show her love? She makes him a mountain of waffles and sausage, his favorite comfort food. Everyone, this is a masterclass in codependence. She thinks she's nurturing him, being the mother he never had, but every single bite is just another link in the chain holding him down. Her love language is literally killing him. And the saddest part is that neither of them can see it. She's not offering him love. She's serving up a plate of his own destruction.
So you realize how important it is to make the changes you need now?
I do.
Because right now you're 27. If you keep this up and the way you're going, you're not going to make it to 30. Okay? So you need to work on that and make the changes right now.
Thank heavens, here comes the only voice of reason in this entire situation, Doctor. Now he takes one look at Justin, who weighs almost 700 pounds, and immediately cuts through all the nonsense. He calls out the emotional eating, the depression, and pinpoints the mother as a major enabler in his life. The message is simple and brutal. If you continue on this path, you won't live to see 30. He lays down the law: lose 10 pounds in 2 months. For the first time, someone is handing Justin the unvarnished, painful truth instead of a plate of waffles. This is the wake-up call he desperately needs.
This could definitely be an opportunity to rebuild the relationship that I have with my mom. This is a real good time for her to be a solid presence in my life. So right now, I'm feeling pretty good.
And here it is, the first major stumble on his journey, and it's a gut punch. After getting his hopes up, his mother calls and pulls the rug right out from under him. She can't move to Houston. The one person he was relying on, the very foundation of his plan, crumbles right before his eyes. You can see the devastation, the old wounds of abandonment being ripped wide open. This is that critical moment. Does he fall back into the abyss and let the food consume him? Or does this painful setback become the moment of clarity he needs to finally stand on his own? This is the test, and his life depends on how he answers.
So you grew up in that house. Where was your biological mom?
My actual mom came in and out a lot. She had some issues with drugs, and she'd just sort of drop off the face of the earth for months or years.
The emotional breakthrough. Justin opens up to his therapist. No screaming, no manipulative tears, just raw, honest pain. He talks about his childhood, about his stepmom making him feel like a burden, and how he relied on his addict mother because she was the only one who seemed to believe him. These aren't excuses. This is years of suppressed trauma finally seeing the light of day. He is confronting the core of his pain without a pizza box in sight. For the first time, we're seeing him deal with his feelings instead of eating them. This is the turning point.
I really did want for us to have that chance to build a relationship that we never had the opportunity for. And when things didn't happen, I actually felt guilty because I was a little relieved when it was.
Justin flies all the way back home, sits down with his mother, and delivers the confrontation a lifetime in the making. When she claims she would never leave him, he looks her dead in the eye and says, "But that's what you do. That's what you've always done." He's not shouting, but his words are carrying the weight of decades of disappointment. He is taking back his power, demanding stability and accountability. This isn't a plea for sympathy. It's the declaration of a man who is finally refusing to be a victim of his past. He is applying tough love to his own life, and it is incredible to watch.
You have lost 292 pounds from day one I saw you.
Yeah.
So that's almost loss of 300 pounds in a year. That's excellent. You're doing great. How you feel losing all that weight?
Incredible. It just makes it all worth it.
Here is the payoff. Justin steps on that scale, and the number is 395 pounds. He has lost a mind-blowing 292 pounds. Dr. Now is beaming, calling his progress excellent and telling him he's proud. And then he drops the magic words, skin removal surgery. This is the moment. This isn't just about the weight he lost, it's about the self-respect he gained. He fought for every single pound, battled his emotional demons, and rebuilt his life from the ground up. The surgery isn't just a procedure, it's the trophy for winning the fight for his own life.
This last year has saved my life. A year ago, I wasn't happy very often. It was just a challenge because I was in a really bad spot, mentally and physically.
And for the finale, it's a full circle moment of healing. Justin gets a tattoo of a phoenix, the ultimate symbol of rebirth, rising over the state of Texas, where his new life began. And who's right there with him, getting the exact same tattoo? His father, the man who stepped up when he was abandoned, the man who became his rock. It was never just about the food, everyone. It was about healing trauma and learning to trust again. The man he was a year ago is gone. In his place is a survivor, someone with a future, and for the first time, that future is soaring as high as he wants it to.
When you're not just fat, but supersized, everything's really hard. I'm not living a life, I'm just existing. I just hate waking up and being in my skin.
Zalyn is almost 600 pounds, and her life is a waking nightmare. She flat out says she's not living, she's just existing. Her days are just a cycle of eating, watching hours of television, and sleeping. Every joint in her body screams in protest the second she stands up. She describes the pain as unbearable, and you can see it in her eyes. This is a cry for help from a woman whose body has become a prison, and she is desperate for a way to break free.
I can remember going through a catalog, circling clothes that I would like to have to go to school in, and my mom would say that those aren't the kind of clothes that fat kids wear to school.
Here is the backstory. The root of this pain goes way back, and it's equal parts tragic and completely bizarre. As a child, her own mother was her first critic, telling her that fat kids couldn't wear the nice clothes she wanted. It gets weirder though. Her mother was so obsessed with calories that she wouldn't let Zalyn lick envelopes or stamps, believing they would make her gain weight. That's a level of delusion that's hard to even process. When your own parent instills that kind of warped thinking at a young age, it's no wonder food became both a comfort and an enemy.
When I first met Zalyn, it was her size that attracted me to her. But now she's gotten so big, it's impossible for us to do anything, and I guess you just gotta be careful what you wish for.
Gareth, Zalyn's husband, isn't just an enabler, he's the king of a deeply disturbing codependent kingdom. He openly admits he was attracted to Zalyn because of her extreme size. He calls her big and comfy and soft and squishy, like she's a piece of furniture, not a person. You see, he has a specific preference, and her getting healthy is a direct threat to that. It's a stunningly selfish mindset. He's not thinking about his wife's health, her pain, or the fact she could leave their daughter without a mother. He's worried about losing the queen of the big women.
I need to make sure she understands what it's going to take for her to get ready for surgery. Charlie, you need to get ready by losing some weight on your own first. I need to see you lose at least 20 to 30 pounds.
Dr. Now enters, the only voice of truth in this entire situation. Zalyn comes in with a half-baked idea that surgery is a magical cure that will instantly stop her sugar addiction. And Dr. Now, in his classic no-nonsense style, shuts that down immediately. He's the only one to tell her plainly that surgery is just a tool, not a solution. The real work, he explains, is changing her entire mindset and her relationship with food. He sees right through the excuses and cuts to the heart of the matter. If she doesn't commit to a radical psychological shift, the surgery will be a complete and utter failure.
You have to cut the calorie count down, but the key issue with it will be that you only eat 2 or 3 times a day, no snacking in between. If you don't adjust your mindset, this bypass is gonna fail.
Here it is, the tough love turning point. Dr. Now doesn't just give advice. He lays down the law with an ultimatum that is both harsh and absolutely necessary. He tells Zalyn in no uncertain terms that he needs to see her lose 20 to 30 pounds on her own before he'll even consider her for surgery. This isn't a suggestion, it's a command. He's testing her. He needs to know if she has the discipline and the will to live before he'll risk putting her under the knife. For Zalyn, this is the first real challenge that forces her to prove she's ready to fight for her own life.
But I don't think he actually thought I was gonna go through with it.
Pajamas? He says, I married you 10 years ago when you were a happy fat girl, and I was happy to marry a happy fat girl. If you'd have told me 10 years ago I was marrying an unhappy fat girl, then maybe I wouldn't have married you.
This right here is the moment everything changes. This is a true, soul-bearing breakthrough. Zalyn finally confronts the horrifying truth. Her husband's love is conditional on her being morbidly obese. He told her if he knew he was marrying an unhappy fat girl, he might not have done it. The realization that big can't be beautiful when it means her daughter could grow up without a mother finally hits her like a ton of bricks. The tears are real this time, not for attention, but from genuine grief over a marriage that requires her to be sick. She's finally choosing herself and her child over his desires.
And I'm nervous that Gareth is gonna flip out when he finds out. But I have to do this for me.
So you had gastric bypass, right?
Yes.
Prior to that, were you doing any exercise?
No.
Okay.
This is what we love to see. Instead of just sitting around, Zalyn takes a massive leap and hires a personal trainer. Let's be real, she's probably the largest person this trainer has ever worked with. But look at her go. She's pushing, she's sweating, and she's putting in the work. This is the ultimate proof of her new mindset. She's not only dieting, she's building a new life from the ground up, one agonizing lunge at a time. The surgery isn't some magic pill. It's a tool she has now earned the right to use through sheer grit and determination.
Are you gonna look?
Nope, I'm not looking.
How many times are you eating?
3, sometimes 2 times a day. No snacking.
What are you drinking?
Water.
Look what we have here. After months of effort, Zalyn hits a massive wall. She steps on the scale at Dr. Now's office, and nothing. She hasn't lost any weight, not a single pound. And what's the culprit? Her little secret habit, Diet Coke. She tries to downplay it, saying it's just an occasional treat, but Dr. Now isn't buying a word of it. This is the harsh slap of reality showing that addiction is a powerful beast. You can't cheat the system. The question now is whether this embarrassing failure will be the final wake-up call she needs, or just another excuse to fail.
They fit. It's been like 7 years since I've worn a pair of jeans.
Get moving, babes, please.
I'm really excited to go riding horses with my mom today.
And here it is, the perfect ending, a hopeful, beautiful new beginning. A year ago, she could only watch her daughter play from behind a fence. Now, she's not just at the park, she's putting on jeans for the first time in 7 years and getting on a horse. A horse! This is the ultimate symbol of her freedom. It was never just about the number on the scale. It was about reclaiming a life that was stolen by trauma, pain, and a toxic relationship. The person she was is gone. In her place is a strong, active mother creating new memories.
I'm just stuck in my bed all day long, and it's been that way for me for 2.5 years. The only part of the world I can see is through my patio door, but I can't even look out and see everything and feel the sun on me.
Sillas is a prisoner in his own body, confined to a bed for over 2 years, watching the entire world pass by through a single glass door. Think about that. His only connection to the outside, to sunshine, to life, is whether someone remembers to open the blinds for him. This isn't living. This is a man being crushed to death by his own body, waiting for his heart to just give up. The level of helplessness is absolutely staggering.
I do it. I'm sick of fighting. I don't have the time, so I just let it happen.
Never in a million years did I think I would end up like this.
I don't think anybody ever thinks that their life's going to turn out this way.
And here we have the enabler, but it's a tragic version. Meet Jessica, his fiancée, who is studying to be a nurse while also raising 3 kids and taking care of a 700-pound man. She openly admits she's a codependent, bringing him the very junk food that is killing him. Why? Because she's exhausted. She's too tired to fight, too overwhelmed to cook a healthy meal. This isn't malicious. It's a partnership built on a foundation of exhaustion and routine. He gets the comfort food he craves, and she gets a moment of peace. It's a devastating cycle where the path of least resistance leads directly to the grave.
I was evidence of an affair to him instead of his son. And that rejection did hurt, but at least I had my mom, who I knew loved me. So in my early childhood, it was just me and her.
Where does this all begin? It starts with a childhood completely devoid of stability. We're hearing a story about a biological father who was a secret, an affair, and wanted nothing to do with him. Then comes a stepfather who, by Sillas's account, never accepted him. He felt like an outsider in his own family, a ghost in his own home. And what did he find? Food. At just 11 years old, food became his only friend, his only comfort, the only thing that didn't reject him. This a clinical blueprint for how a person's spirit gets broken and then buried under layers of pain.
So I'm getting in the position that I'm in.
So you're like a person hitting their head with a baseball bat and said it hurt.
Yeah.
Okay? You know the solution is to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
But the reality is you haven't wanted to stop eating, no matter what it's doing to you.
Dr. Now, the only voice of reason in this entire situation, steps in. Sillas tries to play the "I don't know how I got here" card, and the doctor isn't having any of it, not for a second. His analogy is pure, brutal genius. You're hitting yourself in the head with a baseball bat and then complaining that it hurts. He completely dismantles the wall of self-pity Sillas has built around himself. Dr. Now instantly sees that this isn't a mystery, it's a choice. He's not just a surgeon, he's a delusion destroyer. Sillas has been getting away with this narrative for years, and in 30 seconds, Dr. Now exposed it for the utter nonsense it is.
All right, Sillas, it looked like over the past 2 months you haven't lost anything. So what's going on?
I don't know. I'm not very happy with myself.
After months of progress in a controlled environment, after all that work to get him walking again, this is the result? 2 months on his own, and Sillas has lost a measly 2 pounds. 2. You could lose that in a week by cutting out soda. This is the moment where the rubber meets the road and Sillas drove right into a ditch. The disappointment on that scale is a physical force. All that incredible momentum from the hospital and rehab vanished the second he was left to his own devices. This is a complete system failure that proves old habits don't just die hard, they're practically immortal.
You did well at the start, Sillas, but I still need to see that you're willing to do what you need on your own. You show me that, then we'll move ahead with the next steps and consider you for weight loss surgery.
This is Dr. Now's tough love turning point. He's not screaming. He's not threatening to throw him out on the street. He's doing something far more powerful. He is calmly and coldly explaining reality. Sillas failed, and now he has to prove, not just say, that he is committed to this journey on his own. The goal is the same: lose 70 pounds in 2 months. This isn't a suggestion, it's an ultimatum. Dr. Now is basically telling him, you started this journey as a champion, but you're finishing the first lap like a fool. Show me you're not a fool. This isn't just a challenge, it's a final exam for his future, and the pressure is immense.
And hit the goal I need this time. And I've started doing water aerobics, and it's helped me to start making progress again because I feel like I can do more. My back isn't hurting as much since I'm working those muscles up.
After the utter humiliation of that weigh-in, this is the moment the victim mentality finally starts to crumble. Sillas got a second chance he absolutely did not deserve, and it seems to have triggered something. The shock of his failure was the catharsis he needed. There are no tears of manipulation here. This is the cold, hard realization that he blew it and has one last shot to fix it. He's starting water aerobics, a place where his weight doesn't crush him, and he's finally taking charge. The emotional breakdown happened on that scale, and what emerged from it was a man who might actually be ready to fight for his life.
Well, you made some progress, which is good, but it is obviously not as much as it should be. And the reason for that is you're still eating too much.
I'm still eating too much?
Now this is interesting. He didn't hit the massive 70-pound goal. He lost about 50 pounds. But look at what Dr. Now does. He approves him for surgery anyway. Why? Because for the first time, the doctor is seeing progress that can't be measured on a scale. Sillas walked into that office on his own 2 feet. His endurance is better. His spirit is stronger. Dr. Now is rewarding the effort, not just the number. He sees a patient who is actively fighting, not just passively dieting. This is the earned reward. He proved that even when he falls short of a goal, he's still moving forward with everything he has.
Because I still need my walker, but my goal is to be walking completely on my own in the next few months. Where do you guys want to go?
Everywhere.
You want to go everywhere? So pick a spot? All right,
No, picking a spot.
And here is the payoff. The whole reason he went through this hell. From a man trapped in a bed, watching the world through a window, to a father actively participating in his kids' joy at a trampoline park. This is the victory. He's mobile, he's present, he's off oxygen, and for the first time, he looks like a dad, not a patient. Listening to his daughters talk about how much better life is now that he can be with them is absolutely everything. This wasn't just about saving his own life, it was about rejoining his family. This is the hopeful beginning he fought so hard for. What a journey.
I need to send the ambulance out here.
What's the problem? Tell me exactly what's happening.
I stood up last night. My left knee popped real loud and pain's unbearable.
Have you been in the floor this whole time, or were you able to get back up?
This is a very bad day for Joe. He has fallen, and he can't get up. The simple act of standing has become so perilous that a misstep results in a call to emergency services. Paramedics have to haul him onto a stretcher because his body has become an immovable prison. The look on his face isn't just pain, it is pure despair. He calls his life a nightmare, and honestly, that feels like an understatement. He's only 31. But he's living in a state of constant fear and humiliation. This is the ultimate cry for help.
Real early, his daddy decided it was easier to get him to eat fast food instead of other things.
The relationship between me and my dad was strained.
So he wanted to be close to his dad.
Where did this all begin? It traces back to dear old dad. Now get this. Instead of parenting, his father's brilliant solution to dealing with his son was to just buy him things. Video games and fast food became the stand-ins for actual attention and love. What a guy! Joe basically admits he would have traded every single possession for a sliver of his dad's time. The food wasn't just food. It was a replacement for a relationship. It became the comfort, the friend, and the emotional anesthetic for a wound that was never allowed to heal.
Tell me about your eating habit. How many times you eat in 24 hours?
Actual meals twice a day, but I'm snacking all day.
Let's talk about the enablers, because every good tragedy needs a supporting cast. Who buys the food that's keeping an 800-pound man trapped in his own body, his sister, and his mom? And why do they do it? Joe says it himself. They bring him whatever he wants because they're terrified of making him upset. This isn't love. It's a hostage situation where the weapon is guilt. They are so deep in the web of codependence that they can no longer distinguish between helping him and hurting him. Every meal they deliver is another link in the chain holding him down, and they just don't see it.
Clearly, we have some eating disorder, but I can tell you, with being 800 pounds, you're by no means in condition to consider any kind of weight loss surgery.
Dr. Nauseraden, who is here to cut through all the nonsense, takes one look at Joe's staggering 800-pound frame and immediately calls him out. He shuts down the flimsy excuses and lays out the cold, hard math. To maintain that size, Joe has to be consuming around 10,000 calories a day. The doctor's message is crystal clear. Joe is too high risk for any kind of surgery. He isn't just giving advice, he's dropping an ultimatum. He demands Joe lose an absolutely massive 150 pounds on his own before he'll even consider it. The wake-up call has officially arrived, and it is brutally loud.
I'm mad at myself. Not only did I not lose, but I can't. I'm really scared right now.
You will not believe this. For his first major follow-up, after all the talk and the big move to Houston, Joe gets on the scale, and what happens? He gained weight. His excuse? Oh, the stress of moving made him eat fast food. Dr. Now is having none of it and immediately calls him out, saying his story is mathematically not possible. This isn't just a stumble, it's a complete nosedive into failure. And Dr. Now takes the nuclear option. He's so concerned that he's sending Joe directly to the hospital for a full evaluation. The games are over. This is the ultimate realization of just how close to the edge Joe truly is.
So now you figure out what changes you can make to have adequate weight loss.
I've cut out my sugary drinks. I'm drinking water now. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling great.
Here we are at a critical turning point. Joe has made some serious progress, losing a significant amount of weight, and you can see he's proud. But Dr. Now isn't throwing a party just yet. This is the tough love moment. The doctor acknowledges the success, but immediately reminds him of the goal. You are not at 650 pounds. There are no pats on the back, only the cold, hard number he still has to hit. For many, this would be a moment to give up, to feel like their effort wasn't enough. But for Joe, this is the final test. Can he push through the disappointment and finish the fight?
I've always been large, and it has ballooned into a very serious problem. I was feeling suicidal at some points.
This, everyone, is a genuine breakthrough. After the humiliation of gaining weight and the scare of the hospital, Joe is drowning in depression. But for the first time, he doesn't just retreat into a mountain of food. He admits he needs help and sees a therapist. And what happens? The emotional floodgates open. He finally starts talking about the years of neglect from his father, the pain, the feeling of worthlessness. These aren't manipulative tears we see in so many others. This is pure, raw catharsis. He's realizing that if he wants wants to fix his body, he has to confront the trauma he's been burying for decades. The real healing has just begun.
I really hope this is enough for the doctor. I've fought so hard to get this far. I'm too close to not make it.
You've lost almost 150 pounds. Can you tell the difference?
I can. I definitely can do a lot more for sure. So yeah, I can definitely tell.
After a full year of grueling work, therapy, and fighting every single day, Joe steps on the scale one last time. You can feel the tension in the room, and the number comes up, 652 pounds. He did it! Dr. Now finally approves him for surgery, and the sheer, unadulterated joy is overwhelming. His mother just breaks down in tears of relief. This isn't a magic trick. This is the result of an incredible battle against addiction and depression. He has truly, unequivocally earned this chance at a new life. What an absolutely triumphant moment.
Hi.
Hey, you ready to go get weighed?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I could lose 150 pounds to get the surgery, then I know I can lose 450 pounds with the surgery.
Welcome to the first day of the rest of his life. Post-surgery, Joe is already a new man. He's up, he's moving, and for the first time, there is a genuine light in his eyes. The change is absolutely staggering. He acknowledges the year of hell he went through, but more importantly, he knows he's learned how to deal with his emotions without turning to food. He's not just lighter physically, he's lighter emotionally. This isn't the end of his journey, but it is a profoundly hopeful new beginning. He didn't just lose weight, he battled his demons, faced his trauma, and finally chose to live.